What's up, motherfuckers? Trying to do this video. It's like the third or fourth time I've actually tried. I really need to get like a video editor or something so I can just piece together what's good from all of them. But I don't. I got one shot. That's it. Pressure's on. All right. So you can probably tell from the title, freedom of speech. I was born in 1987. I grew up in the 90s. When I grew up, it was what I feel, and I think a lot of people feel this way about the generation they grew up in. I feel it was one of the last really good, before things got so politically correct. I was taught from a very, very early age that freedom of speech is important because it lets people know who you are and what you think, if that is a good or a bad thing. When you say something, when you sit there and you think of something and you got really important you want to say, and then you say it and the room looks at you like, no, I don't really agree with that. You know, the general consensus is, nah, I don't really see it. But then when you're talking about something else and you bring it up and you just kind of throw it out there, not really thinking much of it, and everybody jumps on it. I mean, he's right. He's onto something there. That's really powerful. That was good. We're taking that from people, and we're putting a wall there, to where it allows all the really good ideas and all the really bad ideas to just fester in somebody's mind, to just sit there and do damage. The potential for catastrophe in that situation rises greatly. I like it when somebody says something real dumb and real stupid, because then I'll look at him and I'll say, I actually thought that dude made sense before, but now that I hear him saying this, I don't think I really want to associate with him that much. If people are too shy or too scared to speak up and say what's on their mind, you're losing that. You're giving that away. And people talk about it like it's a good thing. It's June 2020. A lot of shitty, crazy things have happened in the United States this year. The current going on right now is the police brutality, and what I feel like is the buildup of the next civil war in this country. I think that we're at a place, and some people are going to agree with this, and some people aren't going to agree with this. Me personally, I feel like that we're in a place back in the 50s and 60s, when the country was just really racist against black people, and separate water fountains, separate restrooms, separate graveyards. We're getting back to that, but the roles have switched, and it's now black people, the black communities, that are openly and acceptably racist. I mean, if you look about it, if you think about it, if a white person went out here and walked into a restaurant and some black person bumped into them, and their first response is, hey, watch it, and then it calls them the N-word, that whole restaurant is going to look at that guy and be like, oh my God, what a racist asshole. This guy's, they're probably going to make him so uncomfortable that he'll leave. But if same situation switched around, and a white person bumps into a black guy, and then the black guy calls him, whatever, cracker is kind of the equivalent. In fact, I think the word racist is quickly becoming the equivalent to the N-word. But that's a whole other topic, a whole other story. It might get some response, but it's not going to get the response that it deserves. Anyone being racist in any way shouldn't be tolerated. And while some people don't agree with it and don't say anything, some people don't agree with it and they voice that. They let them know. They tell the person who's being attacked, hey, I got your back. That's the kind of place I want to live, where we can have each other's back. Or we could prop somebody up when they say something because they think that's how they feel and they're not real certain about it, but you also think it's a really good idea, or what they're saying has a lot of merit to it. You can go, you're right, man, yeah, speak on it, let's hear it. When you're destroying freedom, that's what you're taking away. You start to associate with people that you really don't know how they feel because they're too scared to speak up on it. And you find out things at the worst of times, and it's like, why didn't you mention how horrible of a person you were? Well, I was kind of too scared. I thought you got it. I thought you understood. I thought that's what we were doing here. And there's no positive to it. It's all negative. It's all bad. Like, if I watched somebody, I'm sitting here and I watch somebody walk out in front of me and he says, you know what, I don't think it should be illegal for a man to hit his wife. I think they should get rid of that law, and men should be allowed to just beat the holy shit out of their wives. Every time I see that guy from there on out, I'm going to think, that dude's a woman beater. He beats the shit out of his wives, and he's a shit person. You get what I mean? Do you understand the correlation I'm trying to get at? Back in the day, again, I was born in 87. When I grew up, the only phones that we had were inside our houses. People in the 90s had cell phones, but they were really expensive. They were really big and bulky. My parents didn't get a cell phone until I was probably 10, 11, 12, somewhere around then. And even then, it was only used when need be outside of the house. It was using a cell phone inside a house where there's a landline was just unheard of. It was just silly. You just didn't do it. But the point, what I'm getting at here is, the carriers were all, the same. There was Sprint, there was, AT&T, Bell, American. A lot of them are still the same. A lot of them are different. It's kind of irrelevant. But they made it, and this was before my lifetime. This is written in case law a really long time ago, that if you use your phone, if you're at your house and you pick up your phone and you plan to attack someone or a group of people or a building or whatever, and you do it all over the phone from your home, people can't come out and say, well, he used, we're going to say Bell because Bell isn't around anymore. Well, he used Bell telephone services to plan that attack, so Bell Telephone now has to pay us money because their services, without their services, this attack wouldn't have been able to be planned. So the government, Congress, built in freedoms for service providers that protects them from that kind of thing. And you hear a lot about it now. When Sandy Hook happened, a lot of people were trying to go after Remington. I think Remington was the manufacturer of the gun in that one. I'm not sure. But a lot of people wanted to attack Remington. They said, well, he used their weapons to go attack these people. And he took a lot of innocent lives, so Remington needs to pay. Well, there's freedoms built in there. Once you buy a product, it's no longer the manufacturer of that product's responsibility what happens with it. It's the person who's using it. Well, what you're seeing now, with social media being the biggest form of communication, is an attack on free speech, because certain leaders of the social media sites don't want people to hear misinformation, so they can pick and choose what they let people see. And you're seeing a big part of it, people are attacking conservatives. You're not seeing conservative news like it should. I'm a conservative guy. I live in Indiana. I'm 33 years old. I hate CNN. I'm a big time Trump supporter, and I hate CNN. And it didn't take Trump becoming president for me to hate CNN. They are liars. They are phonies. They push the narrative that they want, and anything that goes against it, they kick out of their segment. And anything that goes to their the plot that they're pushing for, they explode it. They put the camera on it 100 times. And I'll give you a post on Facebook just a couple weeks ago. This was right when this was going on. This was probably a week after George Floyd lost his life. To that asshole power tripping cop Let me throw that in there. Nobody I know has defended Derek Chauvin. Nobody. I've not heard anybody anywhere do it. When all this shit's going on, somebody had posted, and it was just this huge long of people. And I mean, I'm talking, there was probably over 1,000 people in this line that you could see. Black people, men and women, Mexican people, white people, everybody. It had kids, adults, elderly. It had everybody. And the caption explained that there was a young child, I think he was 8 or 9 years old, and he was dying from something, and he needed a transplant, a liver transplant, something. I don't know the exact details of it, but I was really moved to see that, and I thought, that's awesome, because in a time where it seems like we're so divided, when it comes down to it, we really do pull together, and we really do try to help our fellow human beings. Well, that kind of stuff happens all the time. You think about it. If in your neighborhood it came out that somebody needed blood, and it was a rare type of blood, I forget what that rare type of blood is, but that's what it was, and they were asking people, hey, come see if you can donate blood for this person. People would do it. It's just natural. That's our instinct. We help each other. That's what we do. But news channels like CNN, MSNBC, all the liberal outlets, they don't show that kind of positive stuff. They don't want anybody seeing that kind of stuff, because in November, it's their chance to get Donald Trump back out of the White House. And coronavirus, was it real? Of course, yeah, it was real. Police brutality, is it a problem? Yeah, it's not near as bad as what they're making it out to be, but it is a problem. We should definitely look into it. And in my opinion, Derek Chauvin wasn't a racist. He was a dickhead cop on a power trip, and he used his authority because he enjoyed it, not because he hated black people. I think one of the solutions I think we need to do for cops, and I know I am kind of jumping around here, but it does all kind of come together. I think we should make it, when you sign up to be a cop, every year you have to go get an evaluation done, because these cops are starting, and they're doing it for all the right reasons. They want to help their community. They want to make a difference. They want to not just go out here and arrest people, but they want to help them and let them see the light and have them lead a life where they abide by the laws and can get along with society. But every day, day in and day out, they deal with the worst of the worst. They go to work one day and they got to go take a report from a woman who just got brutally beaten and raped, and then they leave from there and they got to go to a house where the dad has beat the shit out of his kids, and then they're on their way to the next call, and somebody rolls up to him at a stoplight and is calling him pig and cussing him out and fuck you this and fuck you that. And I think you can push that shit aside for a long time, but there comes a point where you can't, and it starts to affect you and you become jaded. And I think you just start to see the evil, where you would look at a situation before and think, well, I can understand this. This is all kind of a misunderstanding. He didn't really mean to shoplift. It was an accident. He had it and he mistakenly put it in his pocket when he had his keys in his hand. And then there's other times where later in your career you get to, he's a thief. This is his bullshit. This is his scam. This is what he does to people. He's a piece of shit thief. We're going to arrest him and we're going to throw the book at him. And I think there needs to be an evaluation that focuses on that. And if you have gotten to that point, you can't be a cop anymore, and you can either be transferred to do clerical desk work, or you're just let go entirely and you turn your badge in. I know that there are lifetime cops, career detectives, investigators, and I don't want to lose that at all. I do believe there were certain people I believe there's a job out there for you. Somewhere in the world there is a job that you would love to do, and it makes working so much easier and it makes your life so much happier. I believe I found mine. And I think for a lot of people, cops, it's really a thankless job, but you do get to help people every day if you want. Now, back off of that and back on to the freedom of speech thing. if we don't stand up and defend if we can't stand up and defend people because they said something 10 years ago and it was dug up by somebody, and now you know Kevin Hart not being able to host the Oscars or Grammys or whatever that was 2 years ago, because he made a gay joke. Come on, like, that's silly. He's hilarious. Like, do you not see that you're gonna make somebody who's a funny guy, who makes people laugh for a living, who does excellent things with his career, that helps people? Do you not see, by attacking him like that, you're robbing from him? Any joke he tells now, he's gonna have to think, should I really say this? Because in 10 years it might bother somebody. And if you look at it like that on a larger scale, to where it affects everybody, and apply freedom of speech to that, it's terrifying. It's pushing us into a place we don't want to be. And a big part of me feels like the next civil war is coming. Lessons not learned in blood are soon forgotten, and I think people have forgotten them, and it sucks, because at the end of the day, I believe there's a very, 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 very small, tiny fraction of people who are bad. You know what I mean? There's just a small fraction, you know, the racist, the asshole. But for the most part, everybody either wants what's best for everyone around them, or they don't care enough to wish bad, if that makes sense. You know, I've said it for years. Success looks good on anyone. And that's not necessarily true. Some people can take success and really become an arrogant asshole and make them look bad. But for the most part, success looks good on everybody. So I want everyone around me to achieve their dreams and to do what they want in life, because that makes the world a better place, makes everybody happier, and we can continue doing things that we do as American. You know, we made it to the moon as American. You know, people didn't know how to fly, but we figured it out. Like, and it's not necessarily just America, like, we all over the world. And if we instill that, it's almost like, you know, we're robots and somebody's popping that freedom of speech chip out. Think of the things we will lose, or the things that we will never see somebody reach their potential because they were scared. They might have said something, or they might say something that will upset and offend people. That's not somewhere I want to live. That's not the way. Let people speak, and then decide for yourself if what they're saying is something you can get behind, or something that you can, you know, tell everybody else, hey, don't listen to that guy. He speaks a lot of bullshit. And taking that, well, I think I said it. I'm gonna have to watch this. I don't know if I'm gonna share it or not. I'm gonna have to watch it and see how it turned out. I really need to get a video editor so I can cut out the stupid parts, but I'm not a content creator. I'm no famous. I'm not trying to go viral. I'm just speaking on shit I'm passionate about. Peace.